Hello everybody, and welcome back. We will be doing the... Hold on a minute. We will be doing the Wasteseeker Combat Test Capital Ship Class Super Expert Pro, which is the level 4 missions for Wasteseeker Combat Test today. There are only 4 of them, but you do get the rewards of the... Oh, here we go. Alright, come on. You get some more uh, you get some more faction merit and a bunch more loyalty points. Since we already got the that is really annoying. Since we already got the medal, it is good. This I have heard that the 4th set of missions here is significantly more challenging, requiring many people to actually change their fits to make it work. You can see here, Capital Ship Class Super Expert Pro. Hello, Heartbreaking. Hello, Legendary. I know Jin already here. He's been waiting on me for the past 20 minutes. Hello, Wolf. How you doing, Wolf? Welcome. Pretty sure that's Jane, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I should probably consider doing like an intro screen or something in the future. I just don't like waiting. You know? That's just who I am, though. Alright, let's go through our fit. Yeah, I was just going through the 4th set of missions. Showing you guys what we were going to get from the 4th set of missions, which is LP and Faction Merit. And we already got our medal from the 3rd set of missions. Alright. Our fit. Pretty standard for the Telemachus. This is actually the fit that I use, give or take, one module, actually. Hold on a minute. That's a mess. That's not what's supposed to be here. I do not need 2 XL. Yep, I figured that was you, Jane. So this is gonna be our fit. You'll notice it's a little bit weird for an armor tank, being that it is technically a passive tank. All of our repair will come from the 2 Repairman Capital Group armor repairs, which are both boosted by the XL Capital Armor Link module. We are getting a 69.73% boost to the repair of the group armor repairers. Highly valuable. We are also getting a 9.5% armor resistance increase from this. You've seen me use this ship in Sansha a few different times, where I only really need the 1 repairer, but I'm bringing the 2nd one just in case. Yeah, I do need to put my fit on Discord in a bit. I'm pretty happy with the fit. Yeah, we'll see how I go. Hello, Snoopy. How you doing today? So we're getting most of our repairing from this, but we are also going to be getting our repairs from our lightweight Asteros. So let me get those in here. I'm gonna put them on the Manticores, because that's the one that I typically replace. Alright, so Asteros. For 1 flight of Asteros, and I do have 2 of them with me, we are getting 2,500 armor repair every 4 seconds. However, these Asteros do get a buff from the Logi Support Tactical Module, which boosts the Logi Repair Drone amount by 50%. So we're actually getting 3,750 armor repair every 4 seconds off of this one set of Asteros. Or per Astero, I should say. There are 3 Asteros here. So it's a pretty good fit. I'll show you what it looks like outside of station first. And we'll keep the Astero on here. Because I'm pretty sure we'll be running the Astero most of the time.
Undocking.
Just to keep us alive. And actually, let me warp off to a planet, that way I can show you everything. I have really been enjoying my Telemachus. I think it is the best high-sec ship that I have ever flown. The only thing I miss from the Lucent Moon is having the Sun Chaser activation. Alright. So now we are here. Let's go ahead and activate our reactive. We'll have a look at that. That puts us at a pretty nice 89, 86, 86, and 80. Let me go ahead and turn on my DPS modules as well. That way you see what we're going to work with. Mostly, we've got about 27,000 DPS in this configuration. Without my Swarm module active, we would have a little bit more with the Manticores. Let me throw those on here. So 33,900 if I add the 3 Manticores on here. Really, really comfortable. Like I said, pretty easy. 6,400. 6,400,000 resistance. If we turn on our XL armor link module, we'll get a small increase in survivability. We're now at 90, 87, 87, and 82. Yep, I am going to use this fit for the Wasteseeker test. It's also the fit that I was using for Solo Sancha. Yeah, the EHP is low because I don't need it to be very high. That's pretty average for my Sancha stuff. Once I turn on my Swarm module, you'll see I go up to 40,000 DPS. We're also going to go up by another 100 million EHP, so 7.7 million. This is actually with full uptime now. I did finish my skills on uptime, so now we are at 91, 89, 89, and 84. In the Wasteseeker test, we're going to be mostly getting resistances to kinetic and explosive. So that will be very nice. Let's go ahead and look at those Asteros, though. Like I said, currently, in its standard without the Logi module on, we have that 2,500 per Astero. And our capacitor recharge is at 49.9 or 49.6%. Let's go ahead and throw that on here. And let's see what we're at now. There you go. There's that 3,750 every 4 seconds. So very nice. It's enough to keep you going under high stress situations. Like I said, we run solo showdowns like this. It's a pretty easy fit for a solo showdown. You do need more DPS than what I have currently for solo showdown fit, but everything else works out. And then we were talking about the repairman armor repairs getting a buff. So right now, it says we get 9,855. However, when this thing cycles over, and let me make sure I have my battle settings turned on for all the repair stuff. So when this thing comes and cycles over, we'll see that we get a boosted armor repair amount. In which we are going to get 16,726. I'll wait for it one more time. You're just going to be looking for it right around here. It'll be the green number that shows up. Here it comes. There it is, 16,726. And remember, we're only supposed to be getting 9,800. But because of that XL armor link, boosting that armor repair amount, it's a little weird, but you're actually getting like 169% or something like that. It's really cool. There's that 69.73. Alright, so let's go ahead and return to Gina and we'll get into our missions. Oh, you were asking about the rigs. Sorry about that. Here is the rigs that we are running. The 3 lightweight ship burst aerator 2s. We are running a assault carrier hangar advanced modification 3. We are also running a cargo hold and two cargo holds and a capital polycarbon engine housing. Helps us get around just a little bit faster.
Autopilot engaged.
I do really, really enjoy this bit. It is so good.
Warp drive active.
Alright.
Destined docking request accepted.
This should be a fairly chill evening for the Telemachus. This ship is completely designed around having zero capacitor, except for the C-type reactor. That is the only module here that actually needs capacitor to do anything with. Everything else is passive or uses fuel. So if you see me running low on capacitor, just know that it means nothing to this ship. Alright. As for our implant, this is gonna be my standard aerospace implant. I'm using the aerospace tactics I'm using a fighter fire control. This one is actually for my super carrier, not for the Telemachus. This is the carrier defense module boost. Gives that 30% flight velocity and lightweight ship damage bonus when I have my defense module active. It's mostly just there to counteract this module, which this module gives me 60 seconds faster reactivation, which means I can have my swarm carrier defense module up for 100% uptime. But that 30% lightweight ship damage bonus is counteracted by this module here, which is the 30%. We also have the level 8 general fire control system upgraded. So that is going to give us a 24% damage boost effect, better missile application for our lightweight ships, and a better activation time bonus. We're going to use the standard recovery technique, which gives us 10% flight velocity. And this one here, we're going to use the 10% drone damage boost, although you can also get away with just going for the better explosion velocity and tracking speed. Which also, in turn, would give you a little bit better flight velocity, but overall, it's pretty fine as is. Alright, let's get into the combat test. I have heard the first one is fine, the second and third one are pretty tough, and I didn't really hear much about the fourth one.
Undocking.
We're under attack.
Just a reminder, this is an armored ship. So, let's go ahead and get this running here.
Receiving remote repair.
And we're going to cycle these group armor repairs about every 15 seconds.
We're being warp scrambled.
Okay, perfect.
Shield damaged.
I'm going to turn this around so you can see the entire light show as we lag. Yeah, these battleships are definitely tanky. If you'll keep an eye on the armor here, the main source of repair is our 2 group armor reps and the Astero. That is what we will rely on. And honestly, we don't really need the the group armor reps for this, I think we're fine without it. Or if I really wanted to, I could swap over from the group armor reps to... or from the Astero and go back into the Manticores for a little bit more DPS. Yeah, they definitely take some time to kill. It also doesn't help that there's a couple of Logi ships, I believe, in this mix. So just another thing for us to play around with. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and turn off the group reps. I don't need them. And I honestly don't think I need the XL armor repair either. Or the XL group armor link thing.
We're being warp scrambled.
Let's go ahead and turn that off. This would be significantly tougher with the Visago, especially since it doesn't have that Astero capability to heal itself like that. And it cannot use the Logi support tactical module. This should give you a pretty good idea of why this ship is so powerful against, like, the Sansha enemies that we have spawned. And why you can, like, solo a Sansha showdown with one. It's just incredibly tanky. If we do run out of capacitor, all we're going to lose access to is the reactive armor hardeners and our 3 damage modules here. Which would make it a little bit longer. No, this is with, I think it's like 27,000? In this configuration? It's closer to 40 when I swap over my, my manticores. It's like 31 or 33, actually, I think. I don't know, it's somewhere in there. It's like 27 to 33.
We're being warp
Lots of battleships. Now, if we do lose capacitor, we will go down to like 17,000. Or like 21. Somewhere in there. Yeah, it should be like 21,000 we go down to. When we lose complete all of our capacitor. Just a reminder, this is the resistance bonus that we're getting in this event. 23% kinetic and 39.4% explosive. So these are the integrated sky domes. They're currently going at 2,300 meters a second. They have a 27-kilometer optimal range with pretty much perfect application. 300 meters a second explosion velocity with a 20-meter explosion radius, meaning you're pretty much doing the entire thing. Flight velocity adjustment from the weather fires on these is 41.3% out to 21 kilometers. And I have 2 tubes of those. We are also running 2 tubes of lightweight Allegiance Assault. They're flying at 3,100 meters a second with 1.8 second activation time. Really incredible activation time on these. 21 kilometer optimal range. A little bit worse application, but almost good enough. This will pretty much deal with cruisers and battleships a lot easier, whereas the integrated sky domes are going to deal with things like destroyers and frigates a lot better. These do have the web of fires as well. There goes our capacitor, by the way. And they are applying a 56% flight velocity reduction out to 26 kilometers.
Warning, capacitor running low.
We're just going to be juggling the capacitor here a little bit. The Logi Support Tactical Module is giving us a 30% faster capacitor recharge. And that's what's going to keep us afloat until we can get rid of most of the nukes. I expect in later levels I will not have nearly as much capacitor to play with. But while we have DPS, I'm going to focus capital ships first. You can see here we're actually gaining capacitor now.
We're being warp scrambled.
Oh, that's not too bad of a price on those. 250 billion? That's actually a pretty good price. So with taxes, you're probably asking 275, 280, I'm guessing. That way you make your 250. Awesome. And having these Asteros is incredibly nice. Without these Asteros, this ship would be a lot worse off. But since it has them, oh, it is just beautiful. I'm honestly kind of excited to see if they bring in, like, a Logi ship, a Logi lightweight ship for shields. Because if they bring in, like, a John Yu destroyer as a Logi lightweight ship, that's gonna be so good. It also means I would have to get my hands on a uh, Hangar 4 for this ship. That way I have all destroyers. Alright, so that was our first combat test.
Docking
Not
request
bad
accepted.
at all. I really did not need most of my tank for that. Yeah, I really hope so. I'm so excited for it. Because that'll make something like the Visago really, really fun. Having those, Jean Yu lightweight, support ships. If that's what they choose to do. It's what makes the most sense, though. We've been talking about it a lot, theorizing what could be for shields, and the John Yu Destroyer is like the perfect fit for that. Alright. Next. I think this time around I want to go with just running the group reps rather than having the Asteros being used. We'll see what happens though. Hey, this will be 4.2.
Undocking.
We're under attack.
Yeah, even though we are not using... Oh, I need to not do that. Even though we are not using the Asteros here,
We're being warp scrambled.
we're still fine.
We're being warp scrambled.
You can actually kind of tell that there's a lot less DPS coming in compared to the 4.0, 4.1. Hello, Image. How you doing today? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I normally don't stream this late, but sometimes it happens. I'm glad you could make it.
We're being warp scrambled. Shield damage.
There we go, we're finally getting into our armor soon. I'm gonna wait for this one to cycle one more time. Because I want to time this a little bit better. There we go. That's better. Now we're getting one activation every 15 seconds. Yeah, the group armor reps are nice. They're just not as good as the Asteros for healing. You can see my lightweight ships just going over to the exterminator there. I so much prefer the Asteros for healing. How far away are you? 37. Boy, he's slow. 1,700 meters a second. Hey, let's use this to
Receiving
self-rep.
remote repair.
And it's just a slow DPS tick out there. It's gonna take a while to take out these battleships. They are very, very tanky. They have high resistance and high amounts of health. You can see we're already back up to full health after changing over to the Esteros. You'll note that I do not have a nanocore for this ship yet. I am not picking up a nanocore for this ship until I see one that has a good activatable mode that I can utilize. I just don't see the value in having the greenfield activation, or even the voyage would have been nice, but I just could not pick it up at the time. But it just wasn't nearly as good of an option.
Warning. Capacitor running low.
There's that capacitor warning.
Warning. Capacitor running low. Warning. Capacitor running low.
We're gonna get this message a lot during this. Alright, almost taken out most of the DPS here. These are all dreadnoughts, so I can pretty much just take care of these lightweight ships next. I don't believe any of the dreadnoughts have Nosferatu, so I really should move on to something other.
We're being warp scrambled.
Lots of neutralizers, 17 of them, to be exact.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, I feel like next time I'll just leave the dreadnoughts alone longer, and I'll just focus on, like, neutralizers for the next one.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
I think we've got all of the neutralizers locked up now.
Warning, capacitor running low. We're being warp scrambled.
Honestly, I'm kind of glad I did not need to bring the super in here. This would be really annoying for my super.
We're being warp scrambled.
Not that it couldn't do it, it would just be annoying.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, the villain is a little ugly in its look, but it's fine. Most Valente ships are. Hopefully I can kind of cover some of that up with a Starbreak skin. What I do like about the villain is how much raw armor that it has. It is incredibly tough on that armor. Alright, it only took us 15 minutes or so to get through this mission. Not too bad. Next one's gonna be annoying, I hear. We'll see what we do. I have a feeling the next one we will run out of capacitor. Alright, 4.3. This is where the fun begins. Reminder that this is a lossless mode,
We're under
meaning if
attack.
we do die, we lose nothing.
We're being warp scrambled.
Annihilator, Annihilator, Exterminator, Exterminator, Exterminator.
We're under attack. Shield damaged. Shield damaged.
Yep, a lot more DPS coming in on this one. You can definitely see the tank kind of struggles a little bit to keep up. But once we get rid of these couple of Annihilators and the Exterminators, we should be okay. Biggest thing is, these ships like to run away. So hopefully we can take out a majority of them before they run out too. Before we run out to 150 plus. It may not be that somebody killed the pirate base, Snoopy. It might be just that it despawned, because it does have a normal despawn time. And then you can just respawn it with your citadel.
We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, still not enough DPS for these ships to even threaten the Telemachus. That's not a problem.
We're being warp scrambled.
There's a lot to look at here. I'll be honest. You can see my one little Astero just going absolutely crazy around me. There he goes, and off it goes. So the reason I'm taking out these Annihilators early is because they are extraordinarily high DPS battleships. They're almost like a dreadnought in their own.
We're being warp scrambled.
Might have to turn off the swarm module to kill this exterminator. But we do have about 26 kilometers. Yeah, Pixie likes to tell us no. Hmm. Oh. I accidentally used the auto lock here, and so it actually just used my Astero and sent my Astero away. That's one of the things you do have to watch out for when you're using the Astero. Um, you can accidentally just send it out wherever into the void.
We're being warp scrambled.
Alright, back to having self-repair.
Warning, capacitor running low.
So I did have to turn off
Running low.
my swarm defense module so that way my lightweight ships had the range, the command range, to reach these guys out at 170. say goodbye to our capacitor, by the way. It's on its last 20%. Meanwhile, we are still trying to kill the battleships. If we're lucky, we might recharge just enough capacitor to keep the yellow reactive active.
We're being warp scrambled.
Alright, this is our last 4% capacitor. Let's go ahead and wait till these ships get onto the exterminator here, which we're gonna run out of capacitor before then. Alright, so there goes our capacitor. We are just gonna rely on the recharge from the tactical module to hopefully keep that yellow reactive active. It doesn't use a whole lot, so hopefully it'll recharge fast enough. You can see we dropped DPS quite significantly. I would love to turn this on. I just don't think it's actually doing anything for me. Because they are outside of the 150-kilometer range. You can see, even without capacitor, the way that I have this set up, the ship tanks just fine. You're getting enough capacitor recharge. We can watch our capacitor here. You can see we go down, we go right back up, but we're always having just enough to keep this armor hardener, reactive armor hardener going. With the group reps and the Logiastero, remember, we're only using one Logiastero. I have 2 flights that I can use right now. We're fine. This is what is expected to happen during a Sancho showdown. You have no capacitor, so you need to have other ways to keep yourself alive. I've been wanting to show this off in a showdown, a Sancho showdown, for a long time. Unfortunately, just like every time I get the chance, there is somebody else there. But this actually gives us a really good idea of what this ship is capable of doing without needing a showdown. This is highly reliant on having fuel, though. You are gonna consume fuel like no tomorrow with this. Very nice. Oh, focus fire. Stop that one. Stop that.
Receiving remote repair.
Alright, we're putting this back on us here. I think for a lot of people, this is going to be a very problematic level. But if you're someone like Jenner and I, who crunches numbers regularly and bounces ideas off of each other on how to survive under, like, extraordinary conditions. I mean, look, we're zero capacitor, but we have just enough the way that we have built these ships to keep going. Yeah, we don't have any DPS going out compared to if we could have our modules active. But it's still not bad. I'm checking to see if we could even feasibly turn on a DPS module, but we don't get more than 703 gigajoules, so we're not even going to consider that as an option. I can't say it enough, but this ship is so incredibly awesome. Oh, we actually ran out of capacitor for that for a moment. It was just a little bit of a timing issue on that one. Yeah, definitely having a little bit of a timing issue. I'm gonna let you watch my capacitor and shield and armor and stuff for a while. I think that's good information for you guys to see. And just kind of see how these numbers bounce around and what they're really doing right now.
We're being warp scrambled.
I need to get some better armor hardener skills, I think. Yeah, I need a lot better armor hardening. Alright, we can now put our DPS back in action. Our lightweight ships are finally making it back from their journey out to God knows how far away. Even without the yellow, I am pretty much fine. Even without that reactive, it's pretty much fine. I need to get rid of these carriers before I start killing fighters and things. Because otherwise they're just gonna keep spawning them.
We're being warp scrambled.
I'm pretty sure it needs to be at least a carrier core. Jenner, you might know a little bit more since you have way more nanocores than I do available to integrate. If you can put a dread core on your Telemachus. Image was asking about it. Okay, so long as it's a capital nanocore, we're good. Awesome. That's good. This ship makes things way too easy. It's so nice. And I would love to have a shield version of this ship. Technically, the Lucent Moon counts, but the Lucent Moon does not get any, like, shield Logi drones. Not yet, at least. Not unless you want to go, like, full facts, but I'm talking about lightweight ships is what we're looking for. They're still bouncing around at 0? Yeah. Let's find some other things to kill here.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, I'm planning on integrating Starbreak into mine. But it'll only be after I get a good Telemachus core. Yeah. Yeah, the Telemachus currently only has the Voyage nanocore and the Greenfield Flicker nanocore available to it. Everything else has to be an integration. So, if it was my choice, I would go Voyage with,
We're being warp scrambled.
I would go Voyage with Starbreak. That way I don't have to use the
We're being
Asteros.
warp scrambled.
I can just rely on Starbreak.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, the moment Telemachus can get Starbreak or Storm Melody as a main core, it's gonna be so good. I would honestly consider having like a double Star Melody on it,
Being warp scrambled.
and just keeping the same fit. That way I can nuke fighters and things as soon as they get to me. It would speed things up quite drastically having a double Star Melody. So I think from here it's
Being
just
warp scrambled.
nothing else has neutralizers. Hey, look at that, 1% capacitor. We made it back. We are now at 2% capacitor. Wait, does this mean that I can actually activate all of my modules now? It seems like it.
We're being warp scrambled.
Alright, we're back to having all of our modules active. That one definitely took a lot longer. Just from having lower DPS. I think we spent 15 or 20 minutes without capacitor, but we never went below, like, 90% armor anyway. So it wasn't even a threat to the ship. I'm just so glad this ship works without capacitor. Yeah, Telemachus CTR. Nope, not risking it. No, thank you. I don't need to spend a super carrier's worth of IP just because I want to show you something. Let me show you a little trick I learned. Like, if we ever reach 1,000,000 streams, I would hope that I would be so well set up in this game that I could eat a dreadnought every single minute and not care. But I doubt that's gonna happen. Honestly, I am really enjoying watching, like, EVE Online, Dreadnought fleet brawls, where, like, a single Dreadnought goes out roaming, and they end up having to fight, like, a fleet of 60 plus people. I really want to do that. I just don't have that level of, like, income to actually do that. It would be a lot of fun, though. Maybe one day when I get, like, fully maxed out on Dreadnought skills or something. Oh no, my capacitor is getting low. It's not like I haven't had it at 0% for 20 minutes. Maybe one day I'll find myself in possession of just a bunch of T1 Dreadnoughts roaming around. Could be fun. Could be good fun. If they ever brought, like, trainer Dreadnoughts into the game, I would probably buy a bunch of them. And use them as PvP ships. I don't know. It would probably be all of the above. Like, oh, you're asking what kind of, like, a trainer dreadnought? Kind of like what we have with, like, the trainer cruisers or the trainer destroyers. I would love to have, like, a trainer dreadnought. I think it's a good idea. It gives people a cheap dreadnought to eat around and learn with. Yeah, when Siemens costs more than the ship. No, I expect they would probably put it at like 20 or 30 billion on the market, probably seeded. And you'd probably have to go to a low-sec ITC to even buy one. Let's go ahead and replace these. They could even make trainer dreadnoughts be like high-sec capable, and it would be fun.
Docking request accepted.
I don't know. I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, are we ready for 4.4? It's pretty much going to go the exact same way, I think. Alright. Do I need to change anything here? I don't think so. I think we're good. Dormant Realm. We're doing Wasteseeker combat test, not Dormant Realm. Alright, this is 4.4, the last mission. I expect it will go very similarly to the last one where I had no capacitor for a while.
We're under attack. Receiving remote repair.
Alright, let's get rid... Oh wow, that's a lot of Dreadnought Exterminators.
We're being warp scrambled.
Okay, let's get rid of him. Let's get rid of him, and him.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Alright, I may have to swap over to... a second set of lightweight ships. Not sure. We'll see. We'll just keep an eye on it for now. We'll reduce DPS as we go. Oh no, where did you put your Telemachus? Okay, that's one dreadnought taken care of. Now we have a bunch of carriers to take care of. We're still tanking okay. They're a little bit ahead on DPS, but not that much comparatively. I really thought they would be a lot worse on DPS. Yeah, that's expensive for 4-1.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Wow, that one hit hard. That must be those dreadnoughts. Probably gonna have to focus on them next. Yep, they are slowly whittling through my tank. But we are okay for the most part. It's just the dreadnoughts right now that are kind of chunking through my
Armor damaged.
armor. But that is okay.
Armor damaged. Armor damaged.
You're gonna hear that a lot. I apologize.
Armor damaged.
I'm gonna take out a dreadnought
Armor
next.
damaged.
That way we can get a little bit ahead on healing.
Armor damaged.
Even if I was trying to move, I literally would not be able to move very fast at all. I mean, you're looking at 7 webifiers on me right now.
Warning.
32
Running low.
neutralizers. Let's take out at least one more dread. And hopefully that'll solve our healing problems. If not, I can always just pull back one of my fighters and throw on a second set of Asteros. And then we'll have a lot more healing. But I'm trying to do this with just one set of Asteros. And seeing what happens. This is liable to be the last cycle we get, so everything from here out is going to just be tank.
We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, here we're actually out of capacitor completely. Yeah, we might actually not make it through it this time. Just because I wanted to be cheap on my Asteros.
Receiving remote repair.
It is a delicate balance right now for DPS versus healing. They are just slightly better. So I can kind of cheese the system in between. Now, so long as that Dreadnought doesn't keep absolutely slapping me silly, we should be fine. There we go, we're actually catching up on healing now. Remember, we are running 2 Asteros now, 1 Allegiance, and two of the Sky Domes. Yeah, he's still playing around with me, though.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Now, there should be no more dreadnoughts left, it's just that one carrier.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
I probably should have just stayed with 2 Asteros from the beginning, but I did want to see how far I could go.
We're being warp scrambled.
No capacitor, no problems. So long as you've got enough Asteros.
We're being warp scrambled.
And yes, you can run just a full set of Asteros if you wanted to. And that's completely fine. Those Annihilators that are way out at 170 kilometers,
Being warp
these
scrambled.
guys hurt. These guys hurt a lot. They're just like a dreadnought, just faster and they run away.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Now it's mostly just a game of whack-a-mole. I believe some of these are from the carrier.
We're being warp scrambled.
There's our armor alarm. Not to freak anybody out, but we are actually gaining armor, not losing it.
Acknowledged.
And you can kind of just see how calm you can actually be with the Telemachus when you have the right tools. Having a lot of extra healing, having your Asteros for healing as well. It just all comes together to make the Telemachus a really nice ship to fly. And you can play around with your limitations quite a bit with this ship. Not saying you would want to, like, yeet this thing into PvP and hope it lives, but it will certainly do fine for tanking many of the PvE scenarios they can throw at us. Okay, after this, we'll take out the carrier, and then after the carrier, we'll take out all of the lightweight ships. After that, we'll go after the battleships. DR3, it could probably do. You just have to be careful not to accidentally murder the Nester. Because that does happen quite a bit when you're using this ship. I could probably drop this. Let's go a little bit more DPS here. Alright, we're back to having our modules active. I might have gone a little too overboard on how many I have active. We're not gaining capacitors that quickly, so I'll probably turn off one of these. Yeah, this carrier is the last neutralizer. Yeah, I don't think I would use this ship for DR4 though. The damage transfer is just not quite good enough for it. It's not like the super carriers, where the standard super carriers can just heal their lightweight ships.
Being warp scrambled. Receiving remote repair.
Alright, out they go. Actually, I should probably have them go after the Annihilators first, because that's where the DPS is coming from. But, oh well. Once again, I have accidentally sent my Estero out into the void. Yeah, for the same amount of money, just use a super. That's a pretty good point.
Armor damaged.
I hate when I accidentally yeet my Estero out into the void.
Receiving remote repair.
You can see just how quickly that Estero actually heals. It's very cool. Yeah, they keep wrecking the red. That is so true.
Armor damaged. Armor damaged.
Even with just these battleships, these Annihilators are doing some work.
Armor damaged.
That is a lot of DPS still coming in from the Annihilators. I'm pretty sure we pretty much maximized our capabilities for this.
Capacitor running low.
I don't think we could have gone any differently to have a different outcome that was any better than what we've done. Not with my current fit, my current skills. I think we did the maximum of what this ship would handle. To get through this. Now, of course, if you have better skills, a better fit, with more reps or something, or better... It's mostly just down to skills, to be honest. You could have another set of Esteros on top of the two that I had. But this was almost perfect for, like, the maximum amount of stuff this ship could handle under my piloting. Very happy with it. We maintained capacitor long enough to handle most of the dreadnoughts and most of the carriers. We waited long enough on our health to use maximum DPS on everything around. Um, very good. Very good indeed. And at the last possible moment, we swap to a second set of Asteros and heal through it. I don't think I could ask for a better result. We probably should have gone for this Annihilator first. Since he's right there. Right, I don't think I need the group reps active anymore. We've been at full health for a little while now. I'm honestly certain that if there was even just a little bit more DPS, like one more Dreadnought or one more Annihilator, we would be dead. That's kind of crazy to think about. Like, the Visago would have just been absolutely brutalized in this. So I'm glad I have the Telemachus to try to have a fun fight there. Utilizing every tool in the kit to make it work. Although I will say we did not have to use our emergency hull energizer. That is the only part of our ship that we did not have to actually activate. And on another side note, we did this without a nanocore too. Kind of a nice bonus there. I know a lot of people like to see if they can do things without a nanocore. And it's possible, just it's gonna take a little bit longer, it's gonna be a little bit harder. In the end, it'll be fine though. If you have the right setup. Since I removed my Astero, I'm gonna turn on my Group Rex. Just to kind of counteract that damage coming in. It's not a whole lot, but it's enough that I would need it. Or that I would want it, I should say. Right, 2 more ships left. Oh my pretties. I do really enjoy these lightweight allegiances. They're very cool. I like that they are literally just the destroyer as lightweight ships. As you can tell who the slow one is. Look at that. I mean, that's the difference between all of these ships right there. The allegiances just got there at 2261. The Skydomes are about halfway at 1600. And the Manticore is lagging way behind at 1200. Each one is good for its own purposes. Like I said, the Skydomes are good for smaller ships that are circling you. The allegiances are better for like cruisers, battleships, and the Manticore is pretty much there for the battle cruisers and the cruisers. You'll see it has a little bit worse explosion velocity and explosion radius. So definitely like battle cruisers and battleships it'll do better against. If you're wondering just how big this healing bubble is, there you go. That whole distance is all healing bubble. It almost reaches the lightweight ships and everything. We get about 3/4 of the way or halfway over there. Alright, 4.4 was pretty fun. I like it. And I'm glad I did it with the Telemachus instead of trying to do it with the Wyvern. That was a lot more fun with the Telemachus. I feel like the Wyvern would have just brushed it all off and called it a day. This is our last ship to kill. We did that in pretty good time, to be honest. We're still at like 40 minutes or so, I would think, for trying to do this. Anyone know for sure how long we've been on this? Alright, and that was the last ship for today. Well done to the Telemachus for making it through.
Docking request accepted.
We have completed our Wasteseeker combat test. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. Let me know if you thought that was fun or have you completed it yourself. And I will see you all on the next one. Take care and be safe.